Hola. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está? Okay. That's where my Spanish vocabulary ends. Translator Q-in. As you probably noticed, there's going to be no slides, and we're just going to talk for 30 minutes, if that's okay with you. And I think, Wally, if I can borrow you for a second, I need your help. Can you grab the little red stool for me that's back there? Because I just want to sit up here on the stage. Yeah? Is that okay? Gracias. So yeah, why am I here talking today, right? You saw digital and mindfulness, see? Anybody wondering what I'm going to talk about? Nobody's wondering? Just keep talking. I'm so hungry. Let's just get to lunch. But Wally always mustares, yeah? This is normal. So let me tell you why I'm here, and then I'm just going to tell you what I want to talk about. Muchas gracias. So some of you know that I have started, run, and sold 3 companies. One of the more famous ones was called the Online Marketing Institute. So I know a bit about digital marketing. Just out of curiosity, how many people here are primarily interested in the digital marketing space and why they're here, yeah? Okay, cool. And so in that, I ran a media company, and I ran a technology company, and did a lot of what everybody would say is pretty cool things, and made some good money, and yeah, San Francisco, rah, rah, rah. But the reason I'm standing in front of you now is that was not enough. You know what I mean when I say it's not enough? That the fame, that the money, that all those things that we're told are important in life are not true. Yeah? And so I just wanted to let you know that I've been there and done that. I know the stress. I know the suffering that I've created for my teams when I'm like, just get it done and move it forward and all of those feelings. And so I come from that place. And so I'm hoping, because this conference has a lot to do with digital and entrepreneurship. How many people in here are entrepreneurs or in like a startup? Yeah, a lot of you. Okay. Cool. I can't even see you guys up there, so I don't know if your hand's up there. Just like scream, like, woo! I know. All right. Cool. You guys know what this means, yeah? Hang loose? All right, cool. Good. So I'm here to tell you what the secret is to digital and business success. The one secret. And I will give you the answer right now. It is you. Yeah? It is you, and it is your mind that you're sitting here. Without this, everything else is much, much less. So let me explain what I mean by this philosophy that you are the core to all your business and digital marketing success. By show of hands or yells, how many people will say on an everyday basis they feel stressed? It sounds like you're celebrating the stress. Woo! Fuck yeah, I'm stressed. That's what we do in San Francisco, by the way. All these entrepreneurs talk to each other and like, I'm so stressed, I'm working so hard. Like, what is wrong with you? Your life is terrible. And they're bragging about it, yeah. How many feel just anxious about where life is going or what's going on in their life, yeah? Okay, cool. Yeah, you got an extra one back there, yeah? Double woo. And then anybody have challenges with worrying or what we call rumination about the past? You think about a past relationship or a job, or is this normal here in Bogota? Okay, so we've all admitted we've got some problems, yeah? And these problems are getting in the way of us being successful. So if we just look at that through the business lens, right? If we just like, all we want is success in business and we're the boss and all this, if you are stressed and you are anxious and you are worrying, how good of an employee or a leader are you going to be? Not that good, yeah? Doesn't matter how much you do in this world. Doesn't matter how much you do. What matters is how you are, how you be. Does that make sense? Maybe, maybe not. Good. That means I should keep talking. If it made sense, I should just walk off the stage and you guys already understand. So think about it for just your business. How less productive you are if you're worrying, right? And your employees. How much stifling there is to creativity and innovation and answering the challenging questions. When your mind is in a place of stress and it's releasing all of these hormones, it actually blocks off 90% of the little capacity that we actually use today. And so we have to solve for these things. And even think about communications. When you're stressed and anxious, we're terrible to other people, right? We yell at our spouses, at our children, because we're stressed and we don't have enough, and it happens in work. And so without good communication, without good productivity, and without creativity and innovation, we have a problem on our hands, yeah? Can you agree to that or no? There you go, I like that. I feel like we should be at a rock concert, yeah? We just start screaming and turning on our phone flashlights and woo! Stressed and problems and yeah, I am a terrible person sometimes. So pretty easy to understand why this really affects your business, right? Think about just people who stay on, talent retention we talk about in the US when they're feeling this. They're going to leave pretty soon. So then there's this bigger effect on your health, right? The bigger effect is really on you, how healthy and how happy you are. And so one of the questions I like to ask a lot is, what is success without peace or peace of mind? Is that really success? And so obviously I'm here to change the conversation a little bit because we all are talking about growth and how we need to get traction and how we need to get to the next level and get more followers. And yes, we have to live in this world and do those things. But doing that from a place that is appropriate to maintain who you are as a human being, I think will make all the difference and make all of those results that much better. And so the question would become, well, Aaron, how do we solve for these problems, right? You can probably guess what I'm going to say. And for me, I simplify that into one word that I use a lot, which is mindfulness. How many people are familiar with this term, mindfulness? Yeah? Cool. That's great. Anybody practicing like a meditator? Yeah, meditators out there? Okay, cool. I think within 13 minutes or so, I'm going to try to make a few more meditators out of you. Yeah. Don't get scared. It's okay. Nobody will get hurt. So what is mindfulness, yeah? Mindfulness, the definition I like is moment-to-moment awareness without judgment. Let me explain. And I'm hoping my translator is good, yeah? Is he good? See, okay. Cool. Moment to moment. That means being in the moment, right? Being here now. I was out last night at the speaker's dinner, and my friend Daniela, she's probably in this crowd somewhere, she was on her phone a lot, and I was giving her a hard time because she wasn't in the moment. And it's not just her, right? It's all of us. We're doing it all the time. So being in the moment, and we'll talk about that in a second. Then the second part of that definition is awareness. This is where it gets really interesting, yeah? To be aware of yourself. Truly aware of yourself, so you can see, almost as if you're looking down on yourself and going, wow, I really am having problems, or how and why did I do that? To have some curiosity, so we're not identifying with our thoughts and our emotions, right? This is scientifically proven. We are not our feelings. These are just secretions in the body, physiological, that create that. And actually, most emotions go away within 90 seconds if you let them. A small little tip, if you get emotional and then you name that emotion, fear, anger, jealousy, and you say it out loud for 90 seconds, it will go away. Try it. Let's see. It will turn into maybe fear and then anger and then despair and then sorrow. But it will change, and you'll see this is how it goes. And so moment-to-moment awareness, outside of ourselves without judgment, which is the hardest thing for us in this day and age, is we're judging ourselves is the worst part, the self-judgment. And then, of course, we're judging others. So we can't be perfect about that, but we need to be aware when it happens and try to do less. So if that's the definition, then let me give you 3 pillars to think about as we go here. The first is presence, and that kind of goes to the awareness. And presence means that calm, clarity, and this greater beyond self. One of the most interesting things, and that's commonly confused when we talk about mindfulness, because it gets put into this like self-help category. Does that word translate self-help? See? Is that it's not about changing your thinking, it's about not thinking at all. Not changing your thinking. This is not about being more positive, right? Which I believe in, by the way, too, in self-actualization. This is about no thinking, so you can clear your mind. You know, do you guys have like Christmas snow globes you can shake up and the snow comes down as kids? Yeah, so we have the snow globe, it's agitated. Most of our minds are like that, and there's things going on. There's emotions, there's people, there's stress. And see clearly and understand what really all things are about when it's always agitated. So it's calming the mind to get to no thought. The second pillar of this is what I call acceptance. This is, I believe, one of the hardest for us, and this is why we go see psychologists and talk to life coaches. And that is just the pure act of unattachment and letting go. So not being attached to the past. A great example of this is what we call fixed thinking. Anybody ever like go home for a holiday and get into the same arguments with their relatives every year? Especially about politics. Yeah? Do you know why we do that? Because we're so attached to the one opinion we had at one moment in our life that we won't let it go. And because we have attached our self-worth to these opinions, if one thing is wrong, then everything possibly can be wrong. It's like a string from a sweater. And so that's why we defend these things. And so just that act of letting go can make all the difference. And then it's the unattachment of all of these other things in our past. We are not our family. We are not who we were brought up to be. We are none of those things. And letting go of those identifications is critical for us to get clarity and calm. The last of these pillars are compassion. And that means the act of empathy. So when you see somebody that is suffering, you do something. Not just say, oh, they're suffering, yeah? Actually do something. And you constantly seek places to come from a place of compassion. It's most important when it's somebody you don't like or want to just go away, right? How many people can think of somebody at work they just want to go away? Or you guys aren't being honest, yeah? Yeah, we do. But this is the time we need to come from compassion and say, maybe I need to, why would they feel like that? They're not a bad person, although I like to believe it because they're attacking me, but why? And understand why. Is it because they had a bad day, they had a bad childhood, whatever? Finding compassion for those that you dislike the most is the real test. Presence, acceptance, compassion. See? Anybody have a question right now, or even questioning why they're sitting in this audience and not eating lunch? What are you talking about? We're here for entrepreneurship and digital marketing. I would understand, though. I would understand. If somebody has a question, feel free to raise your hand or just stand up and say something. Go ahead. I will repeat the question so everybody could hear and tell me if I get it right, which is, I can't feel like I'm very present right now because I have a lot of other people that are asking for my time and pulling it, and I can almost feel it in my pocket with the phone or in my purse, yeah? Anybody else feel like that? It's hard to be present and, yeah? Okay, yeah, woo! Hold on, let's just get it straight. Let's just go right there. That's a perfect one. How many people right now are feeling it to be hard to be fully present? Woo! Okay. Let's just take care of that right now. Yeah, is this good? Okay, cool. This is not the script, so there goes. I would like if you guys would just indulge me for 2 minutes. Is that okay? You give me 2 minutes of your time and just maybe trust me. So if I could have everybody sit on the edge of their chair and sit straight up. I'm going to time us here. You can sit, yeah? It's easier to sit. The translation's not working very well now. Or maybe it's our brains are not fully present, right? Yeah? It's okay. No, I'm just using you for humor. Thank you for that, yeah? So we're going to do what I just call 2 minutes of mindful silence. Yeah? So it's called other things, but we're just going to keep it simple. So there's 3 cues for you. One is to sit up straight and feel your abdomens holding you up, yeah? 2 is you can leave your hands out here and let your shoulders go back and drop down. Most of us hold lots of weight in our shoulders and kind of hold us up, but let them go down. And then the only thing else you have to think about is your breathing. And so a really easy way to stay on your breath is to think about your breath coming in your belly, feel it, almost breathe through your belly, and then out through what's called the third eye, or your forehead, out to the universe. So in through the belly, out through the third eye. So for 2 minutes, we're going to do that. You can keep your eyes open or closed. If you have a meditation practice, you can use it. But this is just 2 minutes of mindful silence. And let's just see how we feel starting now. Bueno. I think I could just end like that and we'd all feel so much better, yeah? How do you feel? Better, yeah? How many people feel just a little bit better? Wouldn't it be nice to feel like that every day? For most moments of the day? Okay. So I have a few more things I'm going to say, so I'm going to grab my script back, my little notes. And with Wally's permission, I might go 5 minutes over. Is that okay with you guys? Okay. So, Aaron, that was nice. That was what we call meditation, by the way. So anybody was afraid of that word, you just meditated, yeah? You can go post that on Instagram, not right now. Your Facebook, I just meditated, yeah. So let me give you a couple other tips maybe to find moments like that when you're feeling it. I'll start there and then I'll finish with a couple more thoughts. One thing that's worked very well for me in the stressful days where, I don't know about you, but I have a lot of meeting, phone call, meeting, and every time I'm getting pushed. And so I try to build space in my day to do at least 2 what I call mindful walks. And so if you're in Bogota, well, you guys got a lot of parks too, so finding a park would be nice. Being in nature is the best place to do it, but if you find yourself around lots of buildings, if you look up at a 45-degree angle, so instead of looking there, or where most of us are looking is like this, yeah, praying to our phone gods, look up. And do this even for 5 or 10 minutes in a walk just around the block. And all you're doing is getting very curious about what's up there. Because we never do look that way. And you'll see new things. You'll see a new shop, or you'll see a sign, or you'll see something. And it's just cool. And your mind will let everything else go. So you just take your walk. By way of example, a lot of times as running a company, I will be asked to go from one meeting to the next. And sometimes I will walk right past the meeting room because I'm not ready yet. So I just got pulled in a meeting and I have all of this stuff, right? These things following me around. It's still in my head. And I'll text the meeting owner and say, I will be there in 5 minutes. And I will just go for my walk and then come back. Because to be more fully present for 55 minutes of that meeting versus not present for 60 is much more valuable. A couple other key concepts that I'll just roll over here. One is, before every meeting in many companies that I've run, with 3 or more people, we would do just what you did right now. We would take 2 minutes of mindful silence. And so when we first did it in one of the companies, everybody was like, what the, no, this is weird. Like, what are you doing? You can't make me do this. You can't make me be quiet. Yes, I can. Yeah. Shh. That was the old me, yes. And after about 3 meetings, people would come early to get their 2 minutes. And every once in a while, one of us would forget. We'd just go right into the meeting, and everybody went, oh, no. I want my 2 minutes, yeah? Everybody, even those that are most skeptical. It's a great way to just get back to it. And we always have 2 minutes. It's a false notion that we don't have the time. And then my last piece that I'll say, and I'm happy to talk to anybody afterwards. I will be here all afternoon, and I told Wale I would go try to hang out in the Web Congress booth just to talk, is having people that share this need and this energy. And so we call it sanghas, small groups, usually of 5, to just have conversations about things that need to be talked about. So many times we're just complaining or talking about things. We're not talking about what's really bothering us. And so this concept of a sangha, a small group of people to share openly and intimately, is critical. Most of us are not as connected to our families as we once were, not as connected to our communities, and so we need that. We need to belong. The research says, by the way, the number one effect on somebody's health and length of their life, their longevity, the number one, not smoking, not food, their sense of belonging. Communities that have sense of belonging, this is where we started, give us meaning and purpose. And that connection of the mind and the body cannot be severed. So something to think about. I have a few more pieces here to wrap up the extra 5 minutes, just to give you some thoughts around maybe where to go. People always ask me, well, why is this important, especially for leaders or entrepreneurs, but for all of us, what I call professionals, or what I'd like to start calling us purpose-driven professionals. And just a couple reasons why. First is that clarity. Without a clear mind as a leader, how do you know where to go? If the fog is out there and you're in the ship and you cannot see, how can you possibly tell the ship where to go? We need clarity. We need authenticity. Does that word translate okay? Authenticity. True to ourself. It is another false notion of society that there is yourself at home and yourself at work. There's only one self. And the closer you can be true to that, the closer you'll be able to connect with other human beings. And so more of these masks of who we are as leaders and people we can take off and just be ourselves, the more people will connect with us. And the more people connect with us, guess what? The more trust we build up with them. You've heard of the word vulnerability. It's a very popular word these days in leadership. And so it's not about being weak or crying, although crying is fine. That's a whole other story. I don't have enough time, so we'll go. But being authentic and vulnerable creates trust. And with your fellow teammates, your employees, or anybody within your community, you have nothing without trust. So we need to be ourselves, not who we think the world wants us to be. And with that, we get more joy, more ease, more happiness out of life. There's your why. So the last piece I'll end on is, well, okay, how do I start this? Where does it all begin? Where do I get this start? Where do I go? And you won't get too far, even if you start meditating, without clearly deciding what your values are and how you're going to act on those values with intention. How many people, if I ask them right now, they know exactly what their top 3 values are in their life? Maybe, yeah. This is a very interesting thing. I've done a lot of interviews, and when most people get asked, this is what happens. They go, there's a little bit of a pause, and they go, well, I'm Catholic, so I believe in the golden rule, or I have, this is the way I was raised, and then they find some other words that they like they'll throw out integrity or maybe trust, but yet it's so clear that we haven't spent time right now in our life, right now, not what it was a year ago, 10 years ago. What are your values? What matters most? And once you spend time deciding that, remember we talked about the unattachment to the past. It's not what you did believe, it's what you believe now. Then we could decide how we're going to intentionally act on that every day. And that gives us priority. So then we have priority to say, I need to meditate so I can stay calm, because one of my important pieces is to establish trust. Without my own calmness and authenticity, I will be nothing. And so then that's what lets meditation be something you can do every day, because now you've made it a priority, not just another thing on your list. What are your values and what matters most? I'm almost done, Wally, I promise, yeah? You can come sit out here with me if you want while I finish up. Get you some more stage time, yeah? We could do that too, yeah, okay, cool. So if you decide on what matters most, and you start acting intentionally behind that, I think life will start to change pretty quickly. And you'll see these things happen, and you'll understand what is important versus assuming values in society. Because we assume values we see on TV, that fame and fortune is important. I mean, why is it we think our actors and our athletes are such idols? What do they represent? They represent just achievement, not who they are. And I'm not saying there aren't good athletes or good actors do that, but they're not the people we should be following. These are people that have achieved fame and fortune, and that means that we have placed that as a value. It's just one of many examples we just assumed as values because we have not decided. So if we can decide, and we can live with more presence, acceptance, and act with compassion, I believe you're going to find your own life to be much more peaceful and at ease, and you're going to find the world actually become a better place. So I want to end with 3 things that I can give you as action items, and then 1 quote. Because I only have 30 minutes, and I will be around, but I don't live in Bogota, I live obviously in San Francisco, I would like to invite you guys, if this is an interesting conversation, to connect on LinkedIn and just mention that you were here. And then we can just start more ways to have these little connections and share information. The second thing I did not mention, and my team would be very sad if I didn't, but the latest company that I'm co-managing is called Conscious Company. It's a media company that covers stories about social entrepreneurs, conscious leaders, and sustainable business. And so we're going to be doing some additions down here in Latin America, but I have some to give out if you guys want to read the magazine or take a look at the site, consciouscompanymedia.com. This is where we do a lot of learning about business and mindfulness. And then, last but not least, I think there's something we need to start to establish, which is this human connection that I alluded to before. So I'd like to end with 1 action for all of us right now, and then I'll offer my own to close out. If I could have everybody stand up for 1 second. One of the biggest mistakes we've made in society, I believe, is how we greet each other. We've talked about this before with some friends I've made here. And we give the little kiss on the cheek, right? Or not even sometimes. Or the handshake. How can we connect with another human being through a handshake? And so what I'd like you to do is understand the shared energy of what happens when you actually connect with another human being. So can you look around you real quick and see just who's there? Just look around and look at people's eyes. I know it feels uncomfortable. Yeah, just real quick, look around, yeah? You see somebody you don't know? Yeah? This is what we're going to do. For the next 60 seconds, we are going to hug as many people that we don't know as possible. Ready? Go. I want to hug. I don't know anybody. Hug. Oi. Good to meet you, yeah. Hi. Hi. Wait. Oh, I come in. Yes. Here, I come down. Okay, 30 more seconds, yes? Nice to meet you. Good to meet you. Yeah, cool. Hugs. Hi. Hi. Okay, 10 more seconds, few more hugs. Hola. And it has to be more than a half a second. No patting on the backs and doing the bro hug. Okay. Oh, you want a hug? How about you come hug me up on the stage? You can come around there, yeah? One more hug to end, yeah? You're a beautiful person. Woo! Oh, another hug, yeah? Okay. You feel a little more connection in the heart, right? You might see them at lunch now, you have new friends. So my final thought, and then Wally, you can come out, we can do this, is we have problems, yeah? Stress, anxiety, all of these things. You have stress and anxiety? Yes, you do. Good. Thank you. So you guys are familiar with Albert Einstein, yes? And I'm going to paraphrase for us here. But he said that the problems we have, our stress, our anxiety, cannot be solved in the same way we're thinking, like your next boyfriend or girlfriend, I have to get a new one, right? This one's not working. Then all my problems will be good, right? Yeah? Right. Or my next job. Or maybe I need to go move to San Francisco. Bogota is not for me, yeah? Sound familiar? The problems we have today cannot be solved with the same mindset as with they were created. So with that, I'm here to give out cards, give out hugs. I'd love to hug as many people as possible. I'll be around for lunch. Find me. And I just want to say, muchas gracias. Thank you.
Gracias. Muchas gracias. Woo! Thank you. Thank you. Muy bien. You want to do the move?
Yeah, you want to show?
You want to do our thing?
Wally and I have a tradition where we get on stage and we show off our yoga poses, yeah? And Wally's always like, oh, this yoga, this yoga. So I'm gonna throw a loop for you. We'll do a new one, yeah? Okay. Thank you for bearing with us. Ready? Okay, so here we go. Ready? We're gonna bend down, put your feet together. Come down here, yeah? Hands at your heart, chest up, and then you're gonna twist like this, yeah? And get twist. You guys can do this too if you want to stretch, yeah? Now, get on your tippy toes and put your hands down here. And then push up.